So we put our Sports View team back together to discuss this issue, and what really kind of just shocks me about it is that you take his comment just by itself, and it's not too terribly egregious, but it just reminds us all that racism is alive and well even here in 2013.
And I ask myself, does anybody engage their brain before they speak and understand what it is that they're saying? You know, as far as racist comments go, or any kind of comments that are hurtful, do they just think, well, I'm just going to put it out there and then I'll do the mea culpa, I'll apologize and everything will be okay?
Yeah, and he apologized and he said the questioner asked him in a joking way and he wanted to answer it with a joke and it came out the wrong way. And is there really a right way that can come out?
Right.
And part of the problem is these guys, athletes, whoever, are trying to be comedians. They're in these rooms and these big galas or press conferences, and someone says they feel like they have to entertain. But it's like you're an athlete, you're a golfer, you're a basketball player. Don't tell jokes, play your sport, and leave it alone.
Well, especially where insensitivity can come in and play such a large role. And here's the thing to me, is that if it had been the other way around, if Tiger Woods was asked, will you have Sergio over for dinner? And he says, yeah, I'll invite him over and we'll have paella and sangria. It wouldn't have been as bad a thing. But you take a sport like golf, which has been dominated by white people. What Sergio did and said really reflects more on the fact that we're picking on this guy because he's different. Even though Tiger Woods has dominated the sport for over a decade now, or more than that, it's still about he's different, and we're going to dwell on that. And regardless of whether he was trying to be a comedian, that's where his thought was. And like you said, there's just no getting around that.
And what bothered me, and the first thought I had, was going back to Fuzzy Zoeller. When Tiger Woods won the Masters and Fuzzy Zoeller made a comment that next year maybe the champions dinner will be fried chicken. Now, he's a 60-something-year-old guy. Garcia's a 30-year-old guy. And it seems like, there should be some dilution, diluted. This racism should be diluted by now. It should be spread out a bit. And it was just the comment from Garcia. He said he never heard Zeller had said that before. But I mean, like you said, the thought of that even creeping in is disturbing.
These guys are media savvy. They, maybe it was off the cuff, but this is not his first rodeo. I mean, these since the players, they've been going back and forth at each other. A reporter asked him a question. It was off the cuff. Then he does, as I said, the mea culpa and apologizes. Is he more worried, and are these athletes more worried about, oh my gosh, I might lose an endorsement? Do you think that that's part of this?
Well, no, they definitely are, and I think he's upset about what he said. I really think he wishes he didn't say it. If he had said, yeah, we're going to have dinner together with Tiger, and I'm going to invite over a couple of hookers, that wouldn't have been as bad to me, right? Because then he's taking a personal shot at Tiger Woods.
There is some history.
Right, but by saying what he said, it's kind of bringing in this whole stereotype involving race, and that's what really bothers me. If he wants to take a shot at Tiger, these two guys have been going back and forth, go ahead.
As Garcia said, it was stupid, and it was.
It was. All right, listen, there's much more to talk about on this, much more stupidity to discuss, and we will over on sportsedge.com. But for now, we're going to move on with our fitness segment here on TV. Activities from the kids keeping you from going to the gym? Well, this week's contributor has the answer. All right, now let's get back to this stupidity, because there's more of this racism than just on the golf course. And when you hear what Sergio said, it wasn't like you say, oh my God, what a terrible racist. But again, I think it goes back into this whole, we're stereotyping now. But you look at soccer with Mario Balotelli recently saying, because of the abuse he and other players of color have gotten from fans, he said, if I get it one more time, I'm just going to walk off the soccer field. I think it's by now, everywhere around the world, we shouldn't be seeing what we're seeing, and yet it's so pervasive.
And when are we going to learn? We had
that's a really good question.
Greek Olympic athlete in 2012 kicked out because she made a racist tweet.
Yeah.
We had a University of North Alabama football player during the whole Sandy Hook tragedy make some, terrible comment on Twitter about the president because he was preempting an NFL game.
There's no filter. Where is the filter? And whether you're of a younger generation or older generation, nobody is paying attention. Nobody's thinking. They put it out there and then they apologize later.
I'm not even worried about the filter. I
am.
I wish that people didn't need the filter when it came to this. That their minds didn't automatically go to these racist or stereotyping or profiling thoughts. We need to move beyond that,
And where do they come from? Do they come from home? Do they come from the generation before that? We do have to kind of to water this down. And I think sometimes people are just fearful of what they don't know. And I love the fact, when people are in environments that, you work together. with different races, and I think you tend to understand each other a lot better. And maybe Garcia, I don't know what his experience, is, prior to getting on the pro golf tour.
Well, in some of these comments, and we're dealing with sports, people want to be mean. They want to be mean. And then when the whole world says they gasp and they've gone too far, then they take it back. But there are some really mean people out there who just continue to have this kind of behavior on and on and on, whether it's on the field or off the field.
And a lot of them are mean through the social media, the Twitter, the computer. And don't type anything that you're not going to say in person.
Don't
to somebody.
hit send.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah,
Read
think
it
twice about
first
it. Right, there's your
before you
filter.
hit send, right.
Well, and you were talking about this earlier, Eric. People's use of social media has great opportunity to get them into trouble, especially people who are well known.
Well,
How about politicians?
How many times have we sat at our desks on some nights? We follow Twitter because we're looking for the news of the day, and we've seen an athlete that we cover in the state tweet some remark. Not only is the grammar awful, but maybe there's some curse words in it, and we're looking at each other going, "What are you doing? It's out there forever." And every night we come across this. Every night.
Why would you tweet something that makes you sound so dumb? But even worse, why would you tweet something that makes you sound so ignorant about the people that are around you in society
People
every day?
like being snarky. They like being snarky, and on Twitter, they do it every day, all day.
Just more opportunities to be dumb, I guess. All right. Well,
Yeah.
have we solved problems?
Not yet.
Until next week.
We just scratched the surface.
All right. Well, we'll scratch some more. Until then, we'll see you over here on sportsedge.com.